Thanks everyone for joining us at our community conversation with TJ Wade, our May 2021 Artist of the Month.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us. I think this might be the first community conversation we've had with a live musician, live band playing straight from their home studio.
Uh-huh.
And thanks y'all for figuring out the technical aspects of that. Um, So, yeah, I guess a little bit of I'm sure for some folks that TJ Wade needs no introduction, but he is a legendary local musician of Foot Patrol fame and many other projects, which you're going to be hearing about tonight. Um, and yeah, well, I guess I just kind of want to turn it over to you to hear some more of that fresh music.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're gonna start off with a song that is on my album that I just put out on and helped me put out on DistroKid, which will be on all other platforms like the Apple Music and iHeartRadio and Pandora and a lot of other
iTunes.
Oh yeah, iTunes. Yeah, iTunes. It's going. So this.
Spotify.
What's that?
Spotify.
Oh yeah, and Spotify. Spotify's gonna be on there. They're gonna have our music. They're gonna have this music on there. So this song that we're gonna play is the title track on the first album that I put on DistroKid called "Be Careful What You Ask For," and I called it that. You know, I thought it would be an appropriate title. You know, what I'm saying for the great tracks that are on there. You know. This song is called "Be Careful What You Ask For," the title track. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
was awesome, y'all. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I was thinking we should just sprinkle some questions throughout, and that way we can
Okay.
alternate between the two. But I really
Okay.
love that. I really love the vibe of that piece. It's very mellow and meditative. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a the actual version of it is a loud version. It's a little bit loud, but it explains the same how we just did it. It's just a studio version, and on the album of course I'm doing all the instruments on the record. So it's but on this one on live I like to have Ann on drums, so it makes it more it makes it sound better live too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool. So that is people can find that under your name, TJ Wade, on all of
Um,
the different music streaming services.
yes, all of them. YouTube Music, even. I heard that's going to be on YouTube as well. So,
Cool. And
yeah.
the album title again, if you don't mind repeating that.
The album title is called "Be Careful What You Ask For," deluxe edition, or you can call it Volume One. You know what I'm saying? It's the first part. The first part of the whole thing. It's the and there's a lot of volumes after it. But this is the first one, the very first, the introduction to my music and my world and how it goes.
Right on. So
Yeah.
when I was piecing sending questions out to y'all about for my article, I was surprised to find that how early your music career began. Do you
Okay.
think you could tell us a little bit about when you started playing music and your first show?
Okay. I started playing the piano at 2. I learned to play songs like Mary Had a Little Lamb. Of course, I started playing with my thumbs. So, I would be going all with my thumb, making all types of mistakes. And then I learned how to play for release by my mom. And then by 5, I sang for the first time in this band called Wallfire, which was in 1987. We did the show where this thing where I won the tickets, or not tickets, but I won a Prince album on vinyl. Me and my mom, we won it. So we chose to sing the one of the songs off of it, and we performed it live. And I opened up for the Cover Girls that night, which are a freestyle group back in the late and the early '80s, with with Expose, and all the Debbie Debs and all that. That's the Cover Girls. So I opened up with them singing a Prince song, Little Old Me. I could never take the place of your man. That's the way I sounded as a kid. Little old me.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah.
Well, in 1987, that was the year that I was born.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I was
that's
born
awesome.
in '83. I was born
Right
in
on.
'83.
That's
So
awesome though that you're
yeah.
already performing at age 5. And you
Yeah.
played Congo drums on in that performance, right?
Yes, I played conga drums in that performance, and I played. I also, and then I got to after the show. I got to play on. This person had a drum kit set up. So my mom, set me on the drum kit, and I had the sticks, and I was playing. I tried to play Van Halen's "Jamie's Crying," which but I couldn't get all the things or all the kicks because I didn't know where everything was because I didn't know that I was blind. I didn't find My mom didn't find that out that I was blind until I was like 5. So yeah, that's probably why.
Oh,
But I was
interesting.
born.
So you were you didn't acquire your blindness later on. You were born blind, and then but it took them a
Yes.
while to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah. I was born blind and found that out
So
later.
uh, and then from El Paso, you went to Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired here in Austin.
We moved to Killeen in the fall of '90, and then by '91 I was doing summer school at the Texas School for the Blind, and then by '92 I was in actual schooling at the School for the Blind. So I started in the School for the Blind in '91, which was a 5-week program. And then by '92 I was doing a full length year. So if you think of that as like a full length EP for the 5-week of summer school, and then I did a full length album on doing a full length year in '92 at the School for the Blind.
Yeah, TJ always compares everything to musical stuff,
Yeah.
musical terms.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, um, I've gone to some of the concerts at Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired here
Yes,
in Austin. It seems like they've got a really great music program there.
they do,
What
man.
was that your experience when you went there originally?
Yes, oh yes, yeah. I got to play the piano with a Grammy Award winner from New Orleans, Henry Butler. Back in the late '90s, and so I learned a lot from how to play different scales and how to improv. Of course, I learned how to play the John Coltrane song "Take the A Train" in an improv version. I don't know. I'm a little nervous. I might make a mistake if I show you. I don't want to do that, but that's what I was taught. And then I had a really good music teacher. Her name was Paula Wright, and she taught me from age 7 on to I'd say about my late teenage years, my 17, 18, 19 years, um, or it may have been 16. I did music with her. She taught me how to do classical music. I learned stuff like Beethoven. I learned all three of the parts of For Elise. I did Bach. I learned how to do Bach's was it C minor prelude or something like that. It's wait, let me see. It was like that's just a little bit of it, but that's what I learned. And then I learned the very first thing I learned was two part invention. It was like,
That's awesome.
yeah. So that's
Um,
and then it graduated to George Gershwin. I did that a little bit of that, and I learned how to do fingering and the phrasings and stuff like that, and how to really, because I play by ear. You know what I'm saying? So what Miss Wright did was she gave me like a practice tape, and I would go into the music room and I would practice that. It would take a week for me to learn it, depending on how hard the piece was. It would take me like a week to 2 weeks to learn it.
mhm.
But
Well, I think it's so cool that you're grounded in that classical music because a lot of the music that you make, it's very, I guess, like genre breaking. You know what I mean?
yes,
It's kind of all over the place. I remember when you performed at the library; it was so cool to see
oh
sort
yes,
of, I don't know, in the beginning of the first song you played, it almost sounded like a medieval fair of some kind. And
oh
then it went into sort of a noisy landscape. And then you wrapped up with some pop sounding music.
oh yeah, yeah. The Kitten Planet Zone thing. Yeah, yeah. That was yeah, the
So that was
library.
just cool that your range, you know what I mean?
Yes, thank you.
So, well, do you want to play another song? I feel
Uh,
like one of those KEXP interview hosts. So I'm definitely
That's a great
KBRX.
idea.
I've been on KBRX before, so I'm no stranger.
Yeah.
I remember KBRX.
KEXP, we saw Organissimo on, remember?
Oh.
Yeah, it was like a YouTube, they have a YouTube podcast show.
Oh, okay. I thought we were
It's
talking about
a
KBRX.
radio station from Chicago. That's the one you're talking about, right, Eric?
KEXP is in Seattle, I think.
Oh, so yeah, I knew it was someplace up north.
Yeah, I just it wouldn't be a KEXP interview without the awkward interview questions. So hopefully, uh, anyway, but yeah, let's hear some more music and then we'll.
Okay, this is another track off of my album Be Careful What You Ask For. It's called Flying High in the Sky, and it's a revisited version of a song I recorded in 2014, which I recorded a pre-version of it in 2014. So this is the revisited but revived and live version of it. It's called Flying High in the Sky. It goes one, two, two, three.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Yes.
It's always a bit surreal when you're doing these like virtual things and then there's like no applause at the end, but everyone's digging it. I can tell you that much.
That's cool.
Um,
That's cool.
so before I ask a few more questions, I'm just going to put this out to the group who is
Okay.
here. Um, if you have any questions for Ann and TJ, please drop it in the chat, and then I will make sure to ask them that question at some point. So I wanted to ask you what are some of your influences?
Some of my influences, my influences are diverse. So I'm, I love music like Prince and, the time like really inspired me. Prince inspired me, you know what I'm saying? Even Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying, inspired me with the Thriller in the bag. I had the Thriller cassette and I had the Prince bootlegs it ranges from, I have an alter ego rapper, gangster rapper, MC Terroristic, and that comes from being inspired by Cypress Hill and Ice Cube and Ice T and all the old school hardcore hip hop stars that really were rebels to me, and I looked up to them. And I'm also influenced by a lot of rock and roll. I love Queen. I love early Queen. I love early Soundgarden. I like Black Sabbath. I'm into all types of things, man. It's. But the main thing that I'm really who got me started in the music thing was Prince. He was the first person I've heard ever in music before anybody else. Like I was 1 years old, fascinated with his song, "When Doves Cry," which came out, a year after I was born. So I was by then I was one, and so he's the main person who inspired me to write music, man. He was the main person. Then it was everybody else after that.
Awesome. So yeah, and I also I remember you telling me that you're also inspired by documentaries on YouTube and video games.
Oh yes, yes. I love video game music, man. I love video games. Period. Like I used to have a Sega Genesis, and blind people have games that they can play on their own. Like there's a game I used to play called Streets of Rage, and that's where I got my main inspiring for rapping and from playing. It's a beat 'em up game, Streets of Rage. I'm saying that I played. It was it was cool. I got pretty far. I didn't beat the game, but I got really far. I got a high score. But yeah, I love video game music, man, and I love music documentaries. I love looking up documentaries of of all my favorite people I look up to, like Tupac, and doing I haven't seen a Queen documentary, but I've seen a lot of Prince documentary. Wait, I did see one Queen documentary. It was a night at the opera, and it was really good. It was it's like it explains the whole album. You know what I'm saying? Every song on it explains everything, and you get the full history behind the album. And that's the thing that I love doing, especially with gangster rap. You know what I'm saying? Is learning the history behind it, which song was recorded when and during, and what was taken out. There was a lot of that stuff going on because that's what real prolific artists are about. It's not about how many songs you can record at once, but it's also the how many classics you can pull off. You know what I'm saying? And make it sell. For them, they were selling records. So yeah, those are also my favorites, especially video game music. Man, I remember I first was into Nintendo when I was 5, so I heard Mario Brothers, and that's what set it off.
Yeah.
Like, Mom, I want a Nintendo. No, we can't afford it.
For me, it was Nintendo 64 and Mario Kart.
Oh my, yeah, that was long after. Yeah, that was
Yeah, so
yeah. I,
different
I had an
video games.
N64. me and my brother, we both had an N64. We shared one. So we had Mario. He had Mario 64. I had Mortal Kombat Mythology, and he had Duke Nukem. I had a game called Lamborghini Racing, World Lamborghini Racing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, well, let me see here what other questions I might have. Um, oh, one thing that's struck me in our interview is you said that you don't want to go down the same road twice, musically
Oh.
speaking. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about.
Oh yeah. Well, I okay. Here's the thing. I've recorded a lot of albums on my Roland Phantom X6, which I got in 2006 from my mom. It was a Christmas present. So I've had that instrument since 2018. Or I mean, I played on there since from 2006 to 2018. So let's see. Oh shoot, help me. Oh, and so I don't want to go the you don't want to. I recorded things where you don't want to go the same road twice, but sometimes but that's not always the key because there's songs that I recorded, songs I recorded back then that were so and when I found out when I went down that same road twice, it was actually better twice around than it was when I first recorded it. So I guess I guess there's
So
Maybe
sometimes,
you'll have to take it back.
yeah, I think I take that back. Going down the same road twice because sometimes.
well, well, what it made me think of, and the reason I brought it up is that you've got such a diverse kind of catalog of music that you've made,
Yes.
and that it just to me it was a way of saying that of your sort of wanting to keep things fresh and not wanting to record the same kind of music, but to always kind of
Yeah, to
evolve a
evolve, but
little.
then come back to it. Evolve and then make something different, and then come back to it and make it 10 times better. So that's
Yeah,
what I'm thinking.
sweet. And then well, and then I was going to ask, like, could you tell us just a little bit about the different bands that are occupying your time now, mostly?
Oh yes, yes. I'm in several bands. One of them is the Line of Fire which is with Ann on drums, and I'm on keyboard. I'm with this other band called Aurora Plastics Company, which is with Ann and guitarist Sam from the band Daddy Swamp Ass. He's playing guitar on there, and I play keyboard drums, and Ann does the theremin, and yeah, and it's a loud, noisy sort of thing. It's now a loud, noisy landscape of music there. So there's it's like, and it's not all like it's not under the 3 minute rule. It's like an anti 3 minute rule thing. You just go for yours and go for like at least 15 to 20 minutes doing improv and just having fun with it. You know what I'm saying? And not even thinking about it being a piece of work, because when you don't think of it as a piece of work, then it and you have fun with it, and it becomes a better thing. It becomes better.
One of the unfortunate things for TJ and for me as well is a lot of bands could not practice during this pandemic. So, do you want to talk about some of the bands that you're in, which the pandemic sort of put an end to?
Oh yes, there was a band called Gibbering Twitch that I was in, and it was a Cardiacs cover band. Have you heard the group the Cardiacs? Right? They do
I
it's like
actually I need to look them up.
New wave
new wave
British
progressive,
rock.
yeah, like prog new wave and spacey
Gotcha.
space kind of thing, yeah.
Also, Venus.
Oh, and I was in Venus, which was a improv band where
Super group.
improv super group where
10 to 15 people
yeah, man,
on stage.
and
Can
would
you
just
see that's why we couldn't play during the pandemic? 10 or 15 people on stage.
yes, and then
That's beautiful. You're playing a classical guitar there.
oh yeah, yes, yeah, that's my keyboard. Sorry.
And then you've got MC Terroristic, which is
Yes, MC Terroristic is my rebel gangster rap alter ego, and I have created him. He came out. I came at the age of 14 when I first started doing gangster rap. I was 14 years old, and I was in the basement of the School for the Blind, and I had a bunch of other names before MC Terroristic, uh, but but after all that, MC Terroristic came in like 26, because 2004 I was just terroristic. It was TJ, aka Terroristic, with a rapper. But but in 2006 I adopted the name, the MC name, the not the EMCEE, but just the capital M, capital C, MC Terroristic. And he's hardcore. He's a rebel, and he's very obscene, and he's very raw, and he's very very to the point. You know what I'm saying? He's to the point.
awesome. Well, yeah, I definitely encourage folks to check out all of TJ's different projects.
Yes.
And if you have any questions for TJ and Ann, please drop them in the chat. Do y'all want to play another song?
Yes. We'll play another song. This is from my album that just dropped. Also, after Be Careful What You Ask For, called "Beware of Ghost Town." And this one is a more avant-garde, but there's like two straightforward, really great songs. And this one I consider a big hit. It's called "The Dream Master Spins the Wheel of Fortune," and it's like this. One, two,
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, yes.
So I was gonna tell you we have been getting messages from the chat. Loving the music. That was terrific. Sounds great.
Thank you.
During your little acoustic guitar part, Susan said Blackbird, uh, which is it's funny. Also, Susan said, "Love this, TJ. Where
Thank
can
you.
we
Thank
find
you.
this new work? Spotify. What genre would you
Spotify.
call this? This is
It
the
would
last song that you did."
it would be under rock and soul, and I thought it would be appropriate for it because it's rocking and it's also soulful with the way I treat the keyboard like a singer. Like I'm making it sing. Like very soulful wise when I'm going or I'm going. That's when you're singing it, you kind of have that sort of thing. So it's like a soulful. I call it a soul. So it's under rock and soul.
Yes, with DistroKid, they really don't have a lot of genre choices. You
Yeah.
have to fit your music within just a handful of categories. It's really hard to find descriptions for TJ's music because it's so intense and beautiful and genre crossing.
Yeah, well, Susan said it's kind of dreamy, and that I feel that like that's a pretty good description. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but
hard to
they don't
not
have that as a genre on
Not on DistroKid.
DistroKid.
Yeah.
dreamy soul rock.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd say psychedelic soul rock actually. Because
Yeah,
I have a lot of psychedelic stuff that I haven't released yet on distro, which is which I plan to do in the future. But yeah, I consider it like psychedelic soul rock. It's
nice.
intense. It's not watered down. It's just strong. It's strong, and the production is just strong. That was the thing I was trying to make it a strong production. Each song strong.
So, I was kind of curious. Do you think that you could, and it's on Spotify, just to clarify that,
Yes, it's on
it's on
Spotify
Spotify under TJ Wade.
under
That
TJ.
one, that song was from Beware the Ghost Town.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The last one we
Um,
did.
Which is released on May 15th.
Yep.
I already uploaded it, but you have to give like a week for all of the stores to upload before you can actually release.
Yeah.
right on. So I was gonna ask, TJ, can you tell us a little bit about? I'm curious about your writing process. Is it sort of how much thought goes into it, or is it just kind of organic? A melody occurs to you and you just go with it?
Yeah, a
Tell us
melody
about
just
that.
occurs to me, and I try to just go with it.
So do you just kind of hear chords or a melody comes first, or I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, the melody comes first, and then as I'm doing the melody, I freestyle the chords for the choruses and the verses and the bridges. I just freestyle it,
Oh,
and if
that
I
makes sense because it sounds like there's some um, sort of a lot of times the chords are kind of unexpected. So it sounds like you're, what is it called? Transposing something where you have like a melody and then you can change the chords that appear at different parts of the melody. Like you
I
can
don't
have
know.
a melody.
I don't know about transposing, but it's more like just alternating. I guess I call it alternating, maybe.
Okay. Because yeah, it kind of goes unexpected places,
Yeah,
which is what I one of the things I love about it.
yeah.
Um,
It's one of those unexpected bridges. It's like a bridge. Like for that Dream Master song, there's like a bridge where there's where I put these chords in there, and then that chord, and then I repeat that sequence twice. Yeah, that was a freestyle melody right there. That was, and then the bridge I thought of and so oh
it's hard
yeah.
to listen to that music and not just feel good all around.
Yeah, it's I think it's supposed to make you feel good. Even though it's intense, it's supposed to make you feel good. It's like a happy sort of like a sunny sort of song, but it's cool, it's strong, what I'm saying? It's happy but strong.
Something that I should probably explain is DistroKid is a site that distributes to a conglomerate of platforms. Spotify is one of those platforms that DistroKid distributes to. It's so just in case y'all were wondering, that's why we keep going back and forth from DistroKid to Spotify. It's all website jargon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good to know though.
Yeah.
I should look into that for my own music because it's not anywhere on any site. Castle says, I also play keys and drums. I'm so impressed with what y'all are doing. Double smiley face.
Cool. Thanks.
Well,
Awesome.
I think people probably just want to hear more music.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, what shall we do?
I don't know.
Shall we show them? Oh no, we can't. We can't show them the alter ego because that's a lot of that's obscene and it's probably not fit for.
Whoops.
Yeah. Oops.
Do you want to do growing positive?
Oh yeah, let's do that. That's a good one. Hold on a second. Okay, this song is from an album that I recorded before. Be careful what you ask for, which you will find in the future of on the DistroKid. This song is called "Growing Positive," and I call it that because it's the way I was when you're coming up, I just consider it like coming up in the game is it's a positive thing. It's one of the things that's growing positive. The other, I have someone that I have a person, to share my life with. What I'm saying? I have a person, and that's what a lot of what growing positive for me is. Just having nothing but positive messages. Everything negative erase because we're growing positive. All the negative is just erasing itself. Adversity is erasing. So it's like my anti-adversity song, basically growing positive. So here it is. It goes like this. One, two, two.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Yes.
I think that might have been my favorite one so far. I love
Oh.
the 70s keyboard feel. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the Fender Rhodes, man. It's another one of my favorite things to, to listen or to play on is the Fender Rhodes keyboard. You know, it's got that cool sound. Stevie Wonder used it. A lot of people, a lot of good artists use the roll or the keyboard. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them use that. That
I love
Fender
that
Rhodes.
sound. Um, I was just gonna do one last call for to other folks here. If you have any other questions you want us to ask today, and Anne, I was going to, if we could just one last time let folks know, I guess where they can tune into your music. You have two live streams, and then
Oh yes. We have a live stream on Monday, every Monday
8:30.
at 8:30 called Line of Fire live from the living room.
That's on Facebook.
That's on Facebook.
My personal Facebook page, Ann
Yes.
Heller.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then after that, we do a short live stream called Line of Fire Live from the Living Room, episode whatever, whatever. Bonus tracks on
Yeah,
Instagram.
on Instagram.
And
Yeah.
it's on my Instagram channel,
Where
which
we.
is CFOOD3000.
Mm-hmm.
Then on Friday, TJ?
And on Friday is this thing called Anne's Freaky 15, where usually where we would be outside and she would and she would do the
Do crazy
she would
pole
do some
tricks on
crazy
a
pole tricks.
signpost.
Yeah, and while I play her
As MC
beats as
Terroristic.
MC Terroristic, yeah, and I would have all my hardcore beats, and she would do pole tricks to my hardcore beats. But then we started
Since it
doing
got
it
cold.
inside. It got really freezing cold, so we ended up just doing it inside.
Um, yeah, so that's at 10:30 on Fridays on Facebook. It's only 15 minutes long, or maybe longer.
Yeah.
And then we do an Instagram directly after a bonus tracks Instagram thing directly
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
we're also playing as Line of Fire on May 27th at Sahara Lounge. So
Yes.
come out
So
and see us.
come out and see us. Hell yeah. I think you'll dig it.
great. And then again, so folks can find your solo music under TJ Wade on any of the streaming platforms,
Yes.
And
also
Bandcamp.
online, and Bandcamp
And
online.
Bandcamp, yes.
And Line of Fire has its a Facebook page as well.
Yes,
And
and
a
a Bandcamp.
Bandcamp.
Yes, and a Bandcamp one. Lineoffire.bandcamp.com is the Bandcamp website.
And
And
tjwade.bandcamp.com.
tjwade.bandcamp.com. Yeah.
But that seems like, I mean, that's why we decided to go to with DistroKid, even though it was a little pricey, because that uploads to all the services. And Bandcamp, yeah, people that are in the know, people that are musicians, they know what Bandcamp's all about. But a lot of just everyday people, they don't know, and they're not going to look at Bandcamp. So we decided to go with a site that distributed to all sorts of platforms. Cause man, that stuff's time consuming, and we'd rather play music.
Yeah. Yes, we'd rather play music and create. Just you know, put record a lot as much as we can. Because every there's a time there's a time limit. So you gotta you got so little time to do it, and you got so much things to do, so little time to do it. So that's where we start. That's where the recording part of it comes in.
I was also going to let people know that if you go to the ArtSpark Texas website, artsparktx.org,
Yes.
you can find my article about TJ, and which goes into a bit more, of his background and some other sort of stuff. So if you want to read more about TJ's story, you can check that out. Or
Yes.
there's all kinds of articles about TJ online. So just search around and you'll find it.
Yeah.
Um,
Be there.
and is there anything else that you would like to say to any of our folks, TJ?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on this show, on this interview, on this service, this thing. Um, yeah, to all the coming up, all the artists that are coming up and they're blind and they're virtuosos, make sure you do your own thing. Make sure you do your own record. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you write your own. That way, nobody can say, "Oh, you don't have the rights to this," or "You don't have the rights to that." Well, you when you write your own, you'll have all the rights to it, and nobody can tell you nothing. and respect the game, but don't let the game walk over you because it will if you let it. So just if you're coming up, if you're established, then you don't probably don't need to know this. But if you're just coming up, just make sure that you do your own thing and make sure you make sure you're happy with it before it's put out. I had to make sure that I was happy with the recordings before they were put out. So yeah, so it's all about good planning and good picking, and all that stuff.
I was gonna say, yeah, thank you all so much for being there. And Susan also says, thanks, Anne, for being an amazing sound engineer. And I would like to second that.
I do not deserve. I am not worthy. But thanks.
Well, do y'all want to play one last song and then people can kind of head out as they please?
Do you want to play Higher Ground?
Oh, okay.
We haven't played that in a minute. Hopefully I can do it.
Okay.
This is a Stevie Wonder cover.
Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. You already go. Keep on Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Oh, I'd love to have you all come back for some other event.
Oh man, we'd love to. We'd love to, man.
I'll
It was
definitely
fun.
tune into to one of y'all's streams.
Yes, thank you, thank you. It would help.
Uh, Castle says that was great.
That's called "There's No Such Thing as Self Doubt."
All right,
Okay.
well, y'all, thanks again so much, and we'll
Yes.
let you know when it's up on YouTube. Thank
Yes.
everyone for coming.
Thanks everyone for
Thanks.
listening. We love y'all.
Thank you to our ArtSpark Texas funders, Texas Commission on the Arts, St. David's Foundation, Cultural Arts City of Austin Economic Development, Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, Austin Public Library, Donald D. Hamill Foundation.